Hey,
Mm,
Travis.
Boom.
Just thought I'd drop in and see what's going on the Quest.
Yeah, yeah, great to have you here, Mia.
Not
Just
not anything official. I just tried to check in on all the ships and hang out with them for a while.
uh
Although I feel like I hang out with you every week.
oh yeah, being on the handbook committee, which very proud of what we're doing there.
Me too.
Yeah. Um if you're curious, the waiting room song and character image was Denise's idea. She had a very funny joke about using the real Slim Shady to refer to poor Lieutenant Thomas Riker. Uh,
Oh,
um,
that's great.
yeah, yeah. Normally, what we do, just kind of go through some announcements of what we're doing on the quest, and then maybe stick around with chat with whoever's here. I normally like to open with a little trivia question. I have a lot of fun putting these questions together. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe if you can get this one.
I'm not too good at trivia.
Well, one thing that I love about Star Trek is that
Oh,
yeah, there's been as of right now, there's been 963 released episodes, TV episodes of Star Trek over the past 60 years, plus actually no, 962 because there's 14 movies. I generally count the movies as individual episodes. Um and every single one, with the exception of two, there has been no title repeats. They've always been pretty good about not
ugh.
reusing a title, um, except for one mistake. One time they goofed up. Um,
Can
and
you tell me which two series it was in?
let's see, I can tell you. Let's see. With the way I
Oh, I
structured
get
it,
a choice.
I do have a multiple choice.
I would guess
Um,
Unity,
nope.
not Unity.
Nope. Voyager had an episode called Unity. Enterprise had an episode called Unified. Uh,
Ah, okay. Oh, you're good at this.
yeah, and like I said, as my little asterisk so here, I don't count two-parters, and it has to be exact wording. So if there's a "the" in one, that doesn't count.
Anomaly?
Correct. Do you know which two shows you reuse that title?
Well, I would really guess that Voyager was one of them because they ran into anomalies all the time. Um, I'd guess Next Gen and Voyager.
Nope, neither of those.
Really?
First one was Star Trek Enterprise. This is the one where Archer tortures a guy in the airlock.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes.
And and it was referring to the anomalies in the Delphic Expanse. The next one was Star Trek Discovery,
Discovery.
referring to the
Ah,
dark matter anomaly. Both titled Anomaly, both referring to different anomalies. Yeah, Discovery goofed on that one.
I can see that.
They could have just called it the anomaly, and then it would have been fine.
Hey, and it would have
Uh,
been worked out. I have to admit that I know the titles to every original series episode because when I was first experiencing them, it was broadcast TV. If you missed it, you missed it. And so what we all did was we read the books, because they
mm.
they serialized all the episodes into books. I think DC Fontana might have put them in books. Somebody did. And so when you read a book, you remember the title a lot more than when you just see the episode.
Well,
So I got all those down.
and that's always been, well, this has always been my grief with the current era of Trek. I'll say current as until I don't know, until they just they officially announced they're just not making them anymore. But that they don't show the titles on screen. And I always thought that was special about Star Trek was that is one of the few shows on TV that'll actually show the episode titles on screen. I always find that writers put a lot of effort into coming up with titles for episodes, and I always kind of hate when they don't put them on screen. Um, because I feel
Yeah, I
like,
can see that. I can see
but then
that.
the new Trek, with the exception of Lower Decks and the Prodigy in the last season of Picard, new Trek has not continued that practice, and I hate it. Um, you also get to like kind of learn the inside, like kind of see like how the showrunners are thinking with the titles. Because I've noticed on Next Gen they used to have like the lofty, really long word titles like original series had, and then once Gene Roddenberry kind of got pushed to the back because he was too difficult to work with, the titles got a lot shorter. And then
Oh,
you,
yeah.
yeah, and that seemed to be like a Michael Piller thing because like then I noticed Deep Space Nine, the titles were very short, and then they got very long, like as like Ira Bear took over, whereas on Voyager they just kind of stayed short because it was a lot more like next gen folks.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Sometimes, I know there's a an episode in Strange New Worlds called Memento Mori. And I love that because it I mean, it's just such a great title for that episode, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And I guess I like Latin. It means remember you must die.
Hmm.
And it's it's the Gorn episode.
It's a good.
So it's just a great title, you know? Death is inevitable, so
Yeah. My my favorite Star Trek title is Looking for Parmok in All the Wrong Places from Deep Space Nine. It's the one time where Star Trek actually did a rom-com correctly. Uh and
Mhm.
I just love that title so much. Um yeah. All right. Let's see. Upcoming events. We don't have much over the next month, but we'll start off with an event that I think this is Deborah's idea. She called it Dr. Ta'ana Needs Surgery. It's a crafting event, a crafting project that'll be at Deborah's
Oh,
place, in which we will be making Cation masks. And we're collaborating with some people from the Sonako on that one.
Sirocco.
Yeah.
Ha. Will Sheila be there?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna make
Nice.
masks, and I don't. We'll see how that goes. I have a feeling. I have a feeling they're going to be very disturbing to look at if we do them right. Of course, it's at our residential cat lady's house. Oh yeah, little cat mask right there. Then we got a little event called Seacon. This is Chris's idea. It's going to be at the Cabrillo Aquarium in San Pedro. It's a cosplaying event at
Wait,
Seacon
1 second. What time was that sewing event?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
On
Okay.
the Sunday the 24th.
Just putting it in my schedule because I might be able to get there. I have to ration out how far I drive because my back is bad.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, if I drive to this, I have to make sure there's nothing else on the weekend that I have to drive far to. So
Hmm.
I can do one a weekend where I drive a couple hours each way.
All right. And
Cool.
yeah,
Seacon.
Seacon. So this is the Cabrillo Aquarium, uh, San Pedro. It's kind of near the or slash like Port of Los Angeles, kind of that
Oh,
area. Um, yeah, it's like it's. I guess it's going to be like a little carnival-esque, and there's going to be some sort of I guess you can show up in costume and cosplay, and which I guess that's the name. I guess the name is supposed to emulate Comic Con, so
yeah, like a
CCon.
con.
Yeah,
That's a fun
Chris,
idea.
yeah. Chris is really big into getting us to do more water oceanic themed events because that's what he does for a living. Um,
What does
then
Chris
we're
do for a living?
he's involved with like something related to marine biology.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and he has very weird hours. So, um,
Yeah, that's fun.
um, yeah. And then the next day, we do like a brunch every. It's like every month, 1 to 2 months. We always do like a brunch event,
A
and
brunch.
we
Yeah.
call it Neelix's
Edmonds
Kitchen.
does that. Edmonds does that with a potluck. Every 1 to 2 months, we have a potluck at Laura's.
Ah, okay. Well, we like to
We
go
also do
to.
sort of every other month, we do a episode viewing at night in my backyard.
Oh, you have like one of those big
So,
projector
yeah, we
screens that
have
you.
a big screen and Webb has a projector. So, it's pretty fun. It's a little hard to do in the summertime. We don't do it because it doesn't get dark till 9. So we do freeze in the winter, but we like it. Oh, so you meet at Hoff's Hut. What a great place.
Yeah, yeah, just some good old fashioned breakfast food, get together, hang out. We had a lot of people show up at the last one. I think it was like
Is
11
this a
people.
PowerPoint you're showing?
Yep.
Wow, you put a lot of work into this. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try to go the extra mile. I don't know where the idea came up with like having a waiting room with like a theme song over a character.
It
Um,
was pretty
I
good though.
But yeah. I think it's just because Star Trek is generally starved of popular music. Like they are just allergic to it. So I think the
Yeah,
the combination
that
is
is really
inherently,
so.
yeah. They're always watching like public domain like B movies if they have like a movie night. Like remember in
Yeah, that's
Enterprise that
true.
it's like they're never it's like, maybe you could watch something from like the 70s or the 80s. Like you could say some stuff from there was like classics, but I don't know. Rick
Yeah,
Berman was allergic to that idea.
that's really
Um
true.
Ideas for future events. We got to do a karaoke thing.
Karaoke.
Uh, um our and then Frey is always talked about like we should go to like a tea place. So we should probably put that together. Our captain's chair needs some work because the gray spray paint is coming off. And there's some other upgrades we can do to like the surface area, but the big one is we probably need to reupholster that chair because the paint
Oh my
doesn't stay on. It
goodness.
flakes on. Like you look at it now, there's a lot of spots where like red is showing, and that's just because like that was the original color of the leather before we sprayed it, and
Ah,
so it's like
yeah.
we could. So we should, even though we're not using it for, we're not gonna use it for Long Beach Comic Con. It'd be nice to get that in better shape.
How come you're not
Speak.
using it for Long Beach Comic Con?
We want to do.
Oh,
We're
that's
gonna
right.
do.
You're going to
We're
do
gonna
a clinic, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do a clinic. Deborah was talking about wanting to do kind of like some sort of mix and match game for the attendees, where
Oh.
you I guess you pull up maybe like I don't know if it's like you have a card of like here's a scenario. This type of species has this type of illness under this type of circumstance or whatever, and then which medication will do it. And I'm sure it'll be like I'm guessing it'll be like vials you put in a hypo spray that have different colors, and then you got to figure out which color will do it. So we're talking about like doing some sort of game about that. I put booth in question mark because I think we applied to have like I think it's like they have like a community booth system, and it's basically like whatever booth is left over that isn't taken because they really jacked up the cost. The new ownership they have the new ownership has really big advantage ambitions for Long Beach Comic Con, which I feel like are oversized, but as a result, the prices are like way up this year. So we're like, we'll take what's ever left over, but we're not going to find out what
Yeah.
what that is or if that is until August. Um,
Well,
but
if you guys are a go, I plan to come. Um, I know you need manpower because you and Denise are out of town.
yeah,
So,
sadly, we will be unable to make that event,
I'm
which is a
I'm
shame.
working
I
on getting manpower for you from the different ships and maybe having Artesia help out because they're so close to you guys,
Yeah,
you know, with
yeah. It seems like
with the
that's
con.
yeah. We could use it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I mean
transform.
Denise knows that I'm looking for had a messenger chat with Denise and Deborah about Long Beach Comic Con and what they need, and so hopefully I hope it's a go and they we get the booth.
Yeah. Um. Then the lucky 13. That's when I schedule the next one. Um. I might just end it. I was originally doing this like first Saturdays of the month, and I think I'm migrating over to second Saturdays of the month, and that basically happened because of like we did last weekend we did a it was free comic book day, and we did a little
Mm,
charity event with that. We brought a total of 20, excuse me, 21 cans for Long Beach Rescue Mission, which is like a a homeless like food pantry service, and they partnered up with the local comic shop, Pulp Fiction Long Beach, that is like a couple blocks away from my apartment. Like I literally walk there when I want to look for some new comics. And we got a lot of freak out. I think we for some reason that credited us to like get 23 20 like 20 plus comics like of the free comic selection in total, and it was like, oh, that's too much. I don't want all of these.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like we got exactly what we needed and more. It's a great day. Um, and then yeah, so next week we got that CCon event, and then so it's like, all right, QuestCast will just move to the second week. We might just do that from now on.
Seems like you guys
Uh,
actually have quite a few events planned.
yeah, we managed to keep ourselves busy. Um, I
How do you
sometimes
guys organize getting events planned? Do you do like a senior officer meeting, or does the whole crew jump in and help plan the events?
I mean, we're always, we basically just, so the way it's been working is that the senior officers have a group chat, and we
Hmm.
just kind of, and so like, whenever I have an idea, I bring it up to the senior officers chat and be like, hey, I got an idea. And then I just like pitch them on it. And if no
Ah,
one,
okay.
and then if no one goes like, wait, we can't do that because this or that or whatever, then it's like, all right, let's just do it. Throw it up there. Um, anyone now, obviously, anyone who's not a senior officer in the chat, as we've discussed in the handbook conversations, like obviously anyone is welcome. Anyone is welcome to like reach out to any of us if they got an event that they think would be great for the quest, and we'd be happy to like, you know, make that happen, put it out
Right.
there on the events calendar. Yeah, yeah. So if you're like, I think this would be great for the quest, pitch it to us. We, always looking for excuses to get together.
Yeah, we get some good ideas from the crew, but the Edmonds usually has to run a poll and say, what events do you like? I mean, it's kind of hard to, if they're not at the Edmonds does a senior officer meeting once every 3 months and plans events for those 3 months
Hmm.
and then goes on, one or two events a month, and sometimes they do for 4 months, just depending on conventions and stuff like that. But I'm interested in seeing how other ships do it. I know, Rochelle on the Windrunner, she has a monthly meeting with all the crew, and it's sort of like a business meeting, and it is hugely attended. It's
Interesting.
attended by so many that they're breaking it into two parts.
Oh my
And
God.
I know. I'm like, okay, I want to go and just, sit in on one and just learn. One of the reasons I went on um the LA camping trip, first of all, we wanted to. Devil's Canyon, never seen it. super fun. Even though, just between you and me, it's a 6 hour drive for us to Vegas. We
Yep.
get there, well, to the campground, and Blaze forgot our tent. Of all things to forget, he forgot our tent. So we have pots, so we just put them up in the starlight and laid out and watched, and it was just fine actually. It wasn't a problem. So but we were like, well, we ain't going back for it. Um,
I mean, for a merit badge in Boy Scouts, I had to build a shelter based out of dropped logs and brush. Um,
yeah,
and on top of that, we used because we always had like we had those like it's like those like emergency ponchos and emergency blankets. We just like draped them over
yeah, just drape
to
them over and make a shelter. We
and that was
thought about
actually
that, but
yeah.
it was the desert. There's no trees. It is just sand.
Well, you
But
probably
we
don't need it then. You probably don't need to
no,
put that much
no, we
effort.
didn't. And
It
we
just
brought his big pickup truck, so we just parked next to the truck and we emptied out the bed because we figured if it rained or something and we had to move into the bed of the truck, we could figure out a way to cover the bed if we needed to.
Mhm. Yeah,
So, but
the
actually it turned out fine. But I really, Rochelle, oh my gosh, if you look at Windrunner, they run like 3, 4 events a month and they're bigly attended. And I wanted to see Rochelle's style because I felt like I could learn, from her in how she's leading. And I discovered that she's way more laid back than me. So I keep wondering if I'm too intense.
I you know I mean, I always think like the Quest is pretty laid back in how we do things. I mean, we are not nearly that regimented or procedural as the Windrunner. Like I said, it's just we'll bring up a someone pitches an idea for an event, and then we talk about it in a group chat, and then oh, Carlos is here. Gonna let him in.
Well, I got to tell you,
Mm.
they seem on the outside to be regimented, but their events are not run that way at all. I mean, there were things that had it been me in charge, I would have been way more uptight about.
Hmm.
And I know that Rochelle was concerned. So, for instance, one thing that happened is that we all got there Friday afternoon, except the guy with the food, and he didn't show up till 8:30. And there's nowhere within 40, 50 miles to get food.
Oh my
So,
God.
by like 6:30, people were looking around for the food. And I mean, there was only 10 of us, but still, she has two little kids. And, you know, I would have been way more uptight about that. I would have felt really guilty. She did walk like 3/4 of a mile to try to get a signal on her phone to try to see if he left a message or something.
Hmm.
Um, and then she drove and got a signal and just got a message from him that he'd be there between 7:30 and 8 or so. Um, but I think by 8 o'clock,
Hmm.
for myself, I would have punted and been driving out for food for people.
Yeah, that
Um,
is.
I
Yeah,
was like,
y'all
wow,
gotta.
this is low key. Well, because we didn't eat till 9:30.
So y'all gotta start recruiting like Boy Scouts of well, they don't call it that anymore. The BSA families. Because let me tell you, like, no. Like when I was in Scouts, like y'all got together, you packed everything, you got to like in one spot, and then you kind of organized everything you were bringing from personal belongings to like camp gear to food, and then you
Hmm.
all drove out together, and you basically, kept in constant communication. Well, okay, not like constant. We weren't using like CB radios or anything, but we were like,
No, no, but
something went wrong. Like, the distress
well,
signal went out pretty quickly.
yeah, and I would say that, well, this guy didn't even feel it was wrong. He just got off work late and took his time and came. Um, but the
Yeah.
Edmonds, we do keep in contact with each other. Where are you? What time are you going to be there? And to be fair to Blaze, we've never forgotten anything important like the tent. As a matter of fact, he had to go drive back out and call home and ask, look in the driveway, is the tent sitting there? And my son's like, yeah, it's leaning up against the curb. So
My,
you're going to
oh.
tell him to bring the tent in the house. But, it is interesting. I mean, her style was way more laid back, way more just let everything flow. And I'm
Hmm.
trying to learn from that, trying to find a little bit more balance in how I lead. Because let me tell you, I was a campfire girl growing up.
Hmm.
And then I was a Girl Scout leader for 14 years, 12 years, 12 years. And so I'm kind of like on it. You start dinner way before sunset because nobody wants to be cooking and eating in the dark,
No.
and I'm
Mm-mm.
just way more I don't know. I guess I'm less laid back than that. And so is Blaze. So it was very interesting. But even like going to the sites the next morning and hiking up the mountain. I mean, because we hiked up a mountain to see where on that movie with Kirk, where Kirk dies.
Oh
We
yeah.
went to the spot where Kirk dies up
Hmm.
in those mountains, up in those rocks. But I would have been, it was like really, you're on your own with your little group hiking up there. I would have been worried and making sure that everybody was okay and watching the trail. She didn't do that at all, and nobody expected it. And it was, I mean, and they had, for an event that was at least an hour out of town, they had like 22 people come.
Wow.
So, and do the hike.
Ooh.
So I was really impressed. I was like, wow, okay. But I am learning a lot from the Quest as well, just how you guys are organized, and you guys are really tight knit,
Yeah.
and I like that. And the Edmonds is too, but you guys are in a different way.
Mm.
Um, so it's just getting my education as an admiral and figuring out how do I help.
Well,
Because that's
I
the
hope
main part of my job is to help the all the ships, and I'm like, okay, how do I do that?
hope you learn something good. For me,
Well,
it's
I'm really
like
impressed with you guys. I'm really impressed with the quest.
I think a lot of that comes from I think I wouldn't not sole credit. I think a lot of that comes from Denise because one thing
Mm.
Denise is the biggest extrovert you'll ever know. Um, since I've been working, Monday through Fridays again, and she works Thursday through Saturday. So Sunday the day is like the one day we have like all to ourselves. And she never wants to spend it just kind of lounging around the home, lounging around the apartment. And sometimes I do want that. There's some days where I'm like, I don't feel like going out. But she does. She's like, no, we gotta go out and do something. I think that feeds a lot into the quest of
Mhm.
and it can lead to spontaneity stuff. Like, yeah, like unfortunately, the Comic Con thing I did not announce at the last QuestCast because I didn't have that idea at the time because I don't know, that just came kind of spur of the moment. I was like, oh, here's a geeky excuse for us to hang out. And then the
Yeah,
day after I pitched the event, that's when I found out that I just by following their social, like, oh, there's a charity component. Oh, that's perfect. Now we have to do this.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's interesting because Denise is an extrovert. I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert.
Me
Um,
too. Yeah.
but I am married to an extrovert.
Hmm.
Blaze he cannot stand to sit around the house. He's out, at least 3 weeknights a week. He's gone off doing things, and then he can't sit around on the weekends either. I mean, he's busy,
Yeah.
and he does the Star Trek things, but he has a whole other group that he's part of that I don't do because I feel like, dang, I'm old. I can't go, 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 go. I'm
Oh yeah.
64 and I can't do what I did when I was 44, you know? Like I need way more downtime than
I
that.
know. I know.
Because I just my job is not physically draining, but I am well, I guess between me and you, I'm a little bit emotionally shallow. I don't have highs and lows like other people,
Mhm.
and emotions are kind of draining for me. So an emotional drain dealing with students all day, you know.
Mhm.
So when I get home, I'm just really tired. I don't want to do anything hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What are
feel
you
that.
doing for work right now, Travis?
I print paper and mail stuff for a law firm.
Mm.
So I basically work in like a tiny print shop at a law firm in Irvine, and
Wow.
you know, they need binders. I put them together. If they need something mailed or FedExed, I put that together. If they need something scanned, also, I receive their mail and I scan their mail and
Ah,
and send it out to them. So I actually get to open people's mail, which is kind of fun and interesting. You
yeah.
get to learn what they're doing. That's what I do, and there's a lot of it's a lot of like hurry up and wait, because you'll do like as soon as you
Yeah.
get a request, to like, all right, I do that. And get it done in good time, and then there's a lot of nothing going on. So it's a lot of I'm either it's how I find time to like prepare these slideshows amongst other things. And since free comic book day, I have a lot of new reading that I've been doing at work. So
Well, there is that.
yeah.
How long of a drive is it from your house in Long Beach to Irvine?
It's 20 it's like on a good day, it's like 45 minutes. On a bad day, it might be close to like on a really bad day, it might be close to 70. Um I
Wow.
didn't realize how
45 minutes
much.
at a minimum. Huh.
Yeah, sometimes late, sometimes earlier. It really depends on the day. But I expect to be on the road for an hour, which is a lot better than any drive towards Los Angeles, with the exception of the
Oh,
sun,
yeah.
because I'm always driving, looking at the sun, going home and
Oh, that's
going to work.
special too.
I didn't realize. So if it's like a very sunny day, a very sunny morning, I should expect like bad traffic because no one can drive that fast as well. It's when it's cloudy. Now, this week's been great for traffic because it's been more clouds in the sky.
Ah. Yeah,
uh,
I drive to Ventura, which is about a 35-minute drive. If I'm driving in high traffic time, it might be 45 or 50.
hmm
But I hardly ever drive in high traffic time, so but I mean, it's 30 miles from me, and Los Angeles is also 30 miles from me. But if I drove to Los Angeles, it would be an hour and 15 minutes at least,
Yeah.
because I have to drive through the whole San Fernando Valley.
Ugh.
So,
Yeah.
I get you about driving the opposite way from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Moving things
senior
along.
staff openings.
Yeah, well, we only got 6 people. We only got 6 people, and as you can see, we got a lot of de facto. Although I should probably change the language on that because we later said acting is the word we want to use, moving
Ah,
forward. Um, but yeah, like I am the acting quartermaster. Denise is the acting CMO. Deborah is the acting science officer. Um, and it's like, yeah, you know,
6 is
it,
good though. I mean,
it's a good number. Like we like 6, but we are, open to fill some of the other roles. Like
yeah.
oh man, looking at the website, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I gotta update the website because we took new pictures and
You have a
and
website?
we do. Um, I will say, I
Nice.
think the web address is kind of makes it hard to find.
Mm.
Um, like you can't find it if you Google USS Quest or USS Quest the Fleet, you're not going to be able to find it. But I'll post it in the chat if you're interested.
Yeah, let
Um,
me take it.
yeah, this is what we got, and you scroll down the senior officers section. You can see like, oh, I gotta update that, and I just haven't found the time or the bandwidth to get around to that. But if we had a specialized chief engineer role, um,
Yeah, you could
that
pass it off to them.
that'd be great. That'd be great. So anybody watching the recording, and is like, hey, maybe I'd like to do that. Hit us up. Hit us up. So we can evaluate you. Yeah. Um,
Mm. And you do you have a comms officer?
yes, that is Chris Mumford.
Ah, nice. Nice.
Yeah. And and then I usually like to end with a discussion, although I feel like we've discussed a lot anyway.
We have.
Um, just which is great as well. Um, I usually like to come up with a discussion prompt, and I came up with hiatus good because it, it kind of feels like Star Trek's about to enter another hiatus, that like things are going to wind down and go dormant for a bit, just like they did in 2005 or 1969.
It
And
does
I
feel like that's what's happening.
yeah, and I guess my question I would have loved to have talked to you and anyone else who would have joined. Um, do we think this is a good thing? Like, are we kind of, because I'm kind of at the point where I'm like ambivalent, and I'm like, yeah, it's sad that Trek is winding down, but I don't know, maybe it needs to take a break. Maybe it needs to take a break, and then when it comes back, presumably with a very different creative team, maybe that'll be maybe that could be like refreshing. Maybe that'll like it won't just be like another entry in the glut. It'll be like, ooh, something refreshing. It's the return of Star Trek, something new and interesting, and I don't know.
I think it might be good too. I mean, first of all, it seems like with all of the mergers and acquisitions, it would be good to let things settle down, like not start something and then not continue it, kind of like they did with Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, yeah.
But I gotta say that the last two offerings, Starfleet Academy and um, the Section 31 movie, maybe a little bit below par.
I
Um,
I was just thinking in those few seconds, like I actually don't know what Mia's opinion is on Starfleet Academy, and then you threw Section 31 there, like, oh, not a fan. Okay.
well, I liked Starfleet Academy, and
Hmm.
I thought they did some really interesting things, and I thought they had some really interesting characters. And it's hard to judge any Star Trek series on their first season because first
Hmm.
season is always about bigger than life characters establishing themselves. So I just don't think I just don't think it's fair to judge Starfleet Academy on one season. People don't hit their groove. I liked it. I enjoyed watching it, but it's nothing like the level that Strange New Worlds is.
I felt like Starfleet Academy really suffered from the fact that it's a streaming show because it
Hmm.
very much did not want to be written that way. It was is very episodic, but it was episodic in a way that can only really work if you got if you're doing 20 episodes a year and
Yeah,
you don't have to be consistently concerned about whatever your main arc is. And I felt like that hurt the show more than anything. I mean, it could have been something like, I don't know. It's it's weird that like they compared it to, well, okay, it's not weird. Like I understand like the main comparison was like, oh, the what if Harry Potter but Star Trek because school. And I'm like, okay, or this could be something like I mean, maybe I've been reading a lot of X-Men lately, and I'm like, what if this was like, what if you treated this more like, Xavier's Academy, and then, like X-Men or New Mutants, and which, it's like I could a few tweaks they can go in that direction where it's like it allows each character to have a focus on an episode, and you can do a lot,
Hmm.
but it needed the space in terms of just the amount of content it could produce to
Exactly.
really fulfill itself. And you can't do that with 10 episodes. And
No,
then
you
on top of
can't.
that, Kurtzman kind of, um, fell back to old habits in the finale. It's like, there's a doomsday plot all of a sudden. We got all these
Yeah.
like, we got all these like super nukes surrounding the Federation, and we got to stop it. And I was like, no, Alex,
Yeah, that's
I know
so
you mean well, but you
disappointing.
gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop writing Star Trek plots
They,
like that. It
they
sucks.
can't save the universe in every episode. I mean, that was one of the problems with Discovery.
Mm.
How many times did they save not just the galaxy, but the universe? Um,
Like, like if
repeatedly.
Kurtzman did Deep Space Nine, the Dominion plot would have been over and done with in 1 year.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they'd have moved on to something else, and you wouldn't care as much. Instead of
Yeah,
it being this like
I do. We've had
slow
kind of the
brew.
same talent going through Discovery, Prodigy, Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, Academy. I do think it's a time to give that team a rest.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a Kurtzman hater. I know, like, if you go online, you'll see people who think he's like the spawn of Satan. I think as a person, I think he means well. I think like when I
Hmm.
hear him talk about Star Trek, like I don't know if you read that letter that he wrote, that open letter he wrote to his like to the Starfleet Academy production. Like you read it and you
No.
realize it's worth reading. And at first you think it's just like a posh, it's a classic ho hum. I'm really proud of the work we did and all the stuff we did together. Speaking as the high producer, and then you read more, and he actually talks about what he thinks of like Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future in very like detailed ways, and you're like, oh, okay, he gets it. He understood what Star Trek was. Um, I don't think like reading that, it's like I don't think you can argue in good conscience that he like hated Star Trek or didn't understand it. I think he understood it. I think the problem was he had a reliance on just kind of modern action movie tropes and modern TV tropes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and as well as, in the end, he was a company man for CBS Studios. CBS Studios is like, we need to launch a streaming service. It's gotta be, we gotta do Star Trek, but we gotta give it the budget of Game of Thrones. Bad idea, because that's what people expect now. And
Yeah.
so I feel like a lot of the decisions that were so he's like trying to balance those two acts, and I think when you see the bad fandom just kind of blame him for everything, you're not seeing the
Yeah.
full scope of what's going on. Like I said, the criticism I had with Starfleet Academy, that's not a Kurtzman problem. That is a streaming, the at least the
Yeah.
current business model of streaming. That's a problem.
I did think that Starfleet Academy was surprising because I felt it was a little bit cupcakes and candy, and I expected something more meaty. If you look at how Starfleet Academy is portrayed, even in the Kelvin timeline, it's more serious and less high school.
Yeah, yeah, like what was it? Cute something in candy cookie. What was it that you said? Cookies and
I said it
candy?
was all candy and cupcakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Oh, wait. Okay. Sorry. Carlo Carlos has been trying to get in the meeting, and I think he's having computer troubles. So, oh, there he is.
Carlos,
All right, he's
he's
working
booting
on.
up.
He's booting up. We were just talking about kind of like is the most likely upcoming hiatus of Star Trek a good thing in the end, and which led us to talking a lot about Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, of course, and yeah, there's a lot of Starfleet Academy. I definitely felt like Starfleet Academy was one of those shows where I felt like there are some screenwriters in that room that were kind of flexing and going and trying to be like idiosyncratic and which I respect. It's like try to make it your own thing. Like don't just
Mm-hmm.
try to which not saying every creative decision was a good one. So it's a sense of balance and but I respect like trying to create its own identity, which is what like, I feel like every spinoff
Mm-hmm.
ought to do. Um, and um, yeah, and then just like sometimes I felt like the characters. So one thing I wish they balanced out more was like the language that was used. I felt like um, I'm not a prude for like cursing in Star Trek, but I think it would have been clever if like say like the Caleb Muir character was the one who said like, crass words and like all the other characters didn't.
Yeah.
If there was kind of a recognition that like if you're going to go there, if you're going to do that, do something interesting with that. Like have only certain people like use it in a way that actually like builds character and creates, you know, contrast and
Yeah.
conflict instead of just, hey, look, we curse. Discovery had that problem too early on, where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It does seem like a Starfleet Academy was more high school than college.
yeah, that's I mean, there's not a lot of great examples of college
No,
TV
there's not.
shows. And so there is kind of it's almost
And
like
I mean, comparing it to Harry Potter was grade school, you know. It got
yeah,
into
yeah,
high school eventually, but I mean,
yeah, and that's why I felt like maybe like, you know, that's why I said like if you're gonna do like if you're gonna compare it to another like vaguely fantasy school, like you should have compared it to X-Men. Like
yeah.
or derivatives thereof. Um so I mean they had colorful characters, but the idea is it's a school. And
Mm-hmm.
and then you know and they dealt with and like they dealt with a lot of serious stuff, and then they also like dealt with a lot of very character centric stuff like something the movies never quite got right. It's just that sense of balance. It's why you're able to do it's why they were able to do something like Dark Phoenix Saga really well in the books, which
Mm-hmm.
the movies never understood. The movies never understood how to do that storyline correctly, and then why the X-Men were able to go into outer space, even though the core crux of the X-Men is more Earthbound with the arrival of mutants. Um, yeah, really, really, actually, the main inspiration is just, it should have just been Chris Claremont. Just how did Chris Claremont write X-Men? Let's do that for Starfleet Academy. Uh,
What do you think,
but
Carlos? How do you feel about the hiatus that's maybe coming for Star Trek shows?
Well, I think it's what's going on with the climate, the whole merger, so that's probably affecting everything.
yep, yep. Which that also sucks too, because it seems like Paramount, CBS, and Star Trek they can't go like a full decade these days without going through another corporate shakeup. Um,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when Disney bought Fox, then Disney was like, all right, we're good. Maybe because they
Yeah,
don't have like a big of a debt problem as Paramount has, but they're like, yeah, we're fine. We're just going to stay here for a bit. We're just going to chill. with our massive media empire. But man, it's like Paramount and CBS, they come together, then they split apart, and then they come back together, then they rebrand, and then someone else buys it, and then that guy gets so greedy, I'm gonna buy another Hollywood studio. It's like, just sit
Hmm.
still. And no, then they're gonna have $90 billion in debt. Like, yeah, how do you expect to keep yourself stable? We lost Carlos again.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, it's like, how do you, I see that instability and I just think, can they just sell Star Trek to someone else?
It's funny because Paramount has always had Star Trek too. I
Yeah,
mean, I just know
since,
that because, oh, well, that's who we were writing letters to in the
hmm
60s, was Paramount.
yeah, since
I
Lucille
mean, I know
Ball
that
sold her company.
Desilu Studios started it, but by the time it ended, it was owned by Paramount because
Yeah,
that's who all
yeah.
the letters went to.
hmm Yeah, I
Mm.
know. It's such a poor Paramount brand, but at this point, I'm just like, man, just sell
Yeah,
it to Disney, you know? Like,
at least they'd make Star Trek. And yeah.
they'd
Well,
make
listen,
Star
I got to
Trek.
go. I have a
Yep, you
12
gotta go.
o'clock meeting too, but
You do that just as
okay.
well.
Take care.
Great
Bye
to have
bye.
you. Bye.